used forms before? Sculpted nails before?
It looks like it's so old.
It looks like it, don't it? It looks like it, don't it? Well, let me just tell you. I like to consider myself the queen of sculpting. I never ever liked tips or I never used tips when I first started. When I tell you guys my story about how I got started with nails, I started with a Tammy Taylor nail kit. Okay, and back in the day, you could get Tammy Taylor nail kits, and they were beginner kits, so just a starter kit in Sally's.
Yep, I remember.
Okay,
that.
yeah, in Sally's. So, and now you can. That's a professional product line. You can't purchase it in just any place anymore. But so back then, I don't know if y'all remember. I know some of us will remember VHS tapes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
These kids ain't never even seen one. They're like, what is that?
I got one with my baby shower on there in 2000.
Oh, and look now, and you got to like switch it now. You can't even. Who has a VCR anymore? Right, you got to get them like upgraded to. You can't. No, we even use CDs anymore.
It's a converter. You can put them on a.
I've
on
seen
a CD,
those.
But like you say, I ain't even got no DVD player.
I've seen right. Who got that anymore? So, with that being said, I never really, I never really used tips until way late. And then when I started using them, I was like, this is a lot of work. I don't like this at all. So, when I was teaching the last class last week, we talked about saying there's problems in Zoom. We talked about the advantages and disadvantages of using a tip, right? So I personally am not a fan of tips because tips, you've got to lay the tip, fit the tip, glue the tip, cut the tip, shape the tip, blend the tip, all of that before you even get to laying the acrylic. And then what if one of the tips is not the right length or the right shape after you done cut it and shaped it and did all that? Now you got to redo and put it back on and all that stuff. So if it's you can't get in, can you get on Zoom and to the people who have signed up, go ahead and send them the link. I don't know why it's not working. So we'll get you in there, you guys. So for me, by the time I've done all of that, I done popped them forms on and laid the acrylic and already filing and shaping by the time I get to that. So it's almost like doing double work or triple work because you want to shape the tip before you lay the acrylic, but then you still got to shape the tip again. So it's double work. I would rather slap them forms on and then do the shaping one time, fixing the length, and then, with forms, if you get the nail too short, you can always add more to it. It's just so much easier, okay? And you're always going to have that client that's going to go, this one's a little shorter. You know what? Can you make this a little longer? And I see me, I'd be like, no, sis, we're going to catch you on the next go round because I asked you how long you wanted it. The form has the length on. It's right here. Okay? So you pointed out how long you wanted it. That's what I did. So, you're always going to have that one client's going to say, oh, it's too long. No problem. You can always make it shorter, but making it longer is a little bit harder when you already cut and shaped the tip, right? So with that being said, I'm not a big fan of tips. I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of tips. Yes, I do have tips. I have tips that I sell on my website. But the tips that I sell mimic a sculpted nail. Okay? Meaning they have that deep C curve in them. You guys, if you look at a nail tip, a typical nail tip, look how flat.
Yeah.
It's like flat. Whereas you have a tip like one of my tips, and I'm by no means am I trying to sell you on any type of tip. It's all about what you prefer. But if you look at my tips that I have, we're talking about the C curve goes clean to the, and I'm gonna pass this around so you guys can see. The C curve goes clean to the tip of the nail.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and so that mimics a sculpted nail. So even me, if I'm going to use tips, I can't use these little flat, plain looking, you know, everybody's nails look the same tips. Okay, I prefer a tip that, and now they, you know, we didn't have those all the time. We didn't always have those. Okay, so let me see. So what we make sure that. What I prefer is, you know, a tip that looks like a sculpted nail. But at the end of the day, I like to pop these forms on quick and easy. Get it out of the way. Okay? We're talking, instead of having to find the shape of the client's nail, you just put this on, and whatever shape it is, you're going to work with what they got. This is literally working with what the client has. Okay? Now, I will say that not every client is a candidate for sculpted forms.
You got to have a little bit of free edge for you to put it under.
Well, here's the thing. And this is why, and welcome to everybody that made it to the Zoom, that's in the Zoom now, because I know there was a moment that we were not, you weren't able to see us. If you don't have a free edge, and this is why when I do nails on bitten nails, and anybody remember what the medical term or the technical term for bitten nails is?
I can't remember.
Onychophagy.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Okay, onychophagy. Y'all got to remember these when it comes down to state board. So we're gonna. I love popping them back up here and there, right? So onychophagy is bitten nails. So bitten nails is when I'm doing a set of bitten nails, I like to build out, like do a little miniature overlay on the client's nail so that I have something, a free edge. And so with that being said, you're going to have to do the nails twice. So my onychophagy or bitten nail clients are the ones that literally are going to pay me double for their initial set. Okay. Then once their nail starts to grow out, and I mean, I have turned people who bite their nails into nail wearers that literally would. I had this client, bless her, I miss her so much. I talk to her all the time. Siobhan, and she'll be happy to tell you, Mary turned me from a nail biter to having long, beautiful nails that I grew out myself. Well, with the help of me. Okay. And she used to beg me, because, you know, I'm not a fan of having that little piece of nail growing out when you're wearing sculpted nails or any nails, to be honest, unless you're trying to grow them out. So you can get an overlay. I'm not a fan of it because it tends to get dirty and nasty. And she would beg me, please don't cut it out. I just love seeing my nail grow, because I've never been able to grow nails. Never. Okay. So when you're doing bitten nails, you literally have to, because they bite them down to where the skin kind of folds over. How are you going to put a form on that? Well, you're going to have to create a nail tip by laying an overlay on the nail and extending the acrylic out past the skin. So that's, you know, they can get forms. But someone who maybe is not a candidate for forms would be somebody whose nails kind of scoop up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And if they're trying to grow their nails, what ends up happening, their nails grow that way.
Yeah.
So you can put them on. It's not difficult to put them on. Problem is, they might need their nails redone more often, because as they grow, they're growing up, and it looks kind of, you know, it's not an appealing look. Okay. So with that being said, prepping the nails and making sure that they're prepared for the form is very important. And so having a long free edge can't really do it, because everyone's nail is not shaped the same. If you say you've got a person that's got a really deep C curve, like my nails, when I took them off, I don't really care for my natural nails. Okay. I like to see them grow, and I like to look at, okay, they grew a little bit. That's nice. But when I get ready to sculpt them, you've got to cut that free edge down. Because I noticed that, and this has happened to me over time with age, my nails they will curve to the point where they almost touch. This finger right here, the C curve in my nail, it had curved where they almost touch, and the nail wasn't but this long.
Oh wow.
Deep C curve, very deep C curve in the nail, okay? And putting a form under a nail that is not fit perfectly under this curve here is difficult, okay? So you need to clip that free edge, and some clients are like, no. I'm like, look, if you want sculpted nails, we have to cut these down.
Yes.
You're about to have nails this
I
long.
always
What do you
wonder
care?
Why they do that?
Why do you
first.
care?
They always cut your nail. I always wonder why.
You need to.
If you're gonna put a tip on my nail, why are you cutting my? I never knew why. You know.
Well, now you know it's because it folds out from under. It's going to end up getting caught on stuff. Stuff
Yeah.
will get under there. You get getting a mold or a fungus or something can grow, and it's all kinds of stuff can get under there. Makeup is gross, right? So I always end up e-filing that out from underneath the nail. But so today, when we're talking about forms, let's just say that having this skill is very, not many people can do it. Okay, not many people even try to learn it. So with that being said, what do you think that means for you when you do know how to do it?
The elite.
You definitely in an elite group of nail technicians in the sense that people are going to seek you out. I had people who would fly to me to get their nails done. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and toot my own horn, but they work for Delta and got free flights. They probably their auntie lived here, so like come to see their mama or something. But they made sure that they got their nails done while they were here, because I sculpted nails and they loved the way I did it. So if a set of tips, now I'm be in my chair. So here's my motto when it comes to pricing. If there's something that you hate to do, y'all look at my chair.
Where you gonna put that
In my suite. That's my pedicure chair.
Girl, I can't wait till you finish yours so I can come look.
Listen,
Because I already know.
It's gonna be lit.
I already know.
It's gonna be lit.
That's
Ooh,
nice.
honey, I can
Pretty.
see it now. Delicious with some hot.
I can't wait to come see you.
Look,
Oh, sorry, y'all. We got a little distracted.
you can have the champagne package with
It's
it.
beautiful.
You already looked there.
Huh?
You can have the champagne package.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful, right?
I think I'm gonna be getting my pedicure over there.
Yeah. It's like a queen
Look at my
throne. It's a
pedicures
throne
over there.
chair. I mean, and it's
Yeah.
a double, so two people can sit on there.
Definitely,
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
That's what you're gonna do with it, pedicure. I gotta worry about my soul coming out.
For now, it's gonna be sitting in the waiting area because my room ain't done yet. But yeah,
It'll
look
be
at
nice.
that black one.
The black one.
Oh, I like the white one.
Need to go open the light.
I love white, just clean.
I got love.
So I
That
like
black one though, I don't know where I'm gonna put that one. But we rent those out for
My
events
aunt
and
does
stuff.
that. She just
But
like
not
wearing
that
things,
one,
so-
not that double one. That
Yeah.
one. But anyway, sorry. Oh, look, they talking about can we see?
Them chairs beautiful.
Let us pause so they can see.
And it's very tall.
Y'all see?
So you say you don't know where you gonna put the black one at?
Well, we rent the chairs out, but that double one, that
The
double
double
one,
one is gonna go
that
in your
double one's
suite
going in my suite. Yeah.
for
For pedicures.
Pedicures.
I don't know. I like that black one, but that black one is not my color. It's not
I
my
like
color.
me too. I like the white.
It's
The
not
white.
my color.
I just white. White is just the clean.
Yeah. And my colors is white and silver, so I might end up painting that gold, but I don't know. We'll see. Thank you. Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Sure is.
It's beautiful. We do have a baby shower. That black one got to go to this
Like,
week.
I got my birthday. That's nice.
Yes. Oh, we have several.
Black one. She said
Oh,
she
yeah.
wants. She said she
Several.
wants.
Oh, you right.
We
Oh,
had
yeah.
30, it had 30 something of them.
My
But they
aunt
spread
did.
out between, because we rent them out all over. So
Yeah.
he's got a sister that lives in Atlanta. She has some in her storage room, so we just rent them out. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yes.
nice.
Y'all know he's the King of Thrones.
Okay.
That was the name of his business.
Right.
The name of his business.
King of, what'd you say?
Huh?
King of Thrones?
King of Thrones. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fitting
Ah.
name.
It is. Sorry. Okay, so let's get back to it. So, as far as sculpting nails, when it comes to pricing, if I don't want to do something, I'm gonna charge extra for it.
Because you're making me work harder.
Right. If it's something that I don't like to do, I charge ridiculous, and it's always somebody that's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And I'm like,
That's how I am. I want what I want. I don't care what you charge.
right,
I want what I
right.
want.
So when it comes to tips and forms, when I'm charging, first of all, I charge exact same price for sculpted nails as I do for tips, because I don't even like doing tips. I don't. It's a lot of work. To me, it's more work than sculpting, so it should be more. All right. It takes me longer to do a set of tips than it does for me to do a set of forms. So at the end of the day, if I don't want to do it, I'm definitely going to charge more. So keep that in mind when you guys think about how you price things. Okay. But my sculpted nails are expensive. Okay. They start at $90, and that's for a short number 1 on the form. Okay. Sculpted nails. Why? Because can't nobody else do them. And the folks around here that are doing them are making the clients who want them not want them, because they're like, this is what I hear. Oh, I don't like sculpted nails. They break. Who? Where? Who did those? What do you mean? It don't matter to me what type of nail you get. If they break, it's because you broke it, not because I applied it improperly. But there are things that you do when you're sculpting nails that can make them weak. Okay, one of them being the fact that you didn't cut that free edge. Let's talk about that real quick. Your nail, when you're sculpting it, we've got parts of this nail that should be stronger or thicker than others. Okay, first of all, the tip, how thick should it be?
Like a business card.
Thin as a business card. Okay, thin as a business card. But there's other parts of the nail that if you make it as thin as a business card, it's gonna break. What part would that be? Anybody know?
Apex.
The apex area. Okay? And the reason we have that apex area, that's definitely gonna be a thicker area than the tip or even the cuticle area. So you kind of go, it's like thin, thick, thin, thinner, thin, right? So go ahead, whatever you're doing. It's fine with me. So, when you guys are doing your rebalancing or refills, and the client says, I want my nails cut down. Here's what I used to get all the time. Why do you charge so much for a cut down? It's not just a cut down, honey. That apex has now moved. It's after 2 or 3 fill-ins, that apex has moved from the back. And now it's halfway up the nail. Now I cut the nail down, and guess what? Where I cut it down to, where is it? What does it look like? It's thick. So now I gotta rebound. That's why I don't call refills a refill, because there's a difference between a refill and a rebalance. Okay, just filling in the nail in the back, that's easy. But then you ask for a cut down. For me, it's a cut down and a rebalance, because now I have to cut the nail. It's not just a cut down. Never is it just a cut down. Because I tell my clients, okay, so if I just cut your nails down, let me just show you. I'm going to just do it for you real quick. Real. And I'm like, so you're going to leave out here like this? This is how you're going to leave out here like this? You need to, can we download Keynote? Because that's why I can't get them to download Keynote. I can't get them to, because that's not on the iPad. So it's not just a cut down anymore. It's a rebalance. And especially with sculpted nails, okay? So you got to start charging accordingly. So now when you give your clients choices, they have choices based on their budget. If you want to charge less for tips, which I do not. I'm definitely not charging less for tips. Okay? So let's talk about it. So nail forms feel that some nail technicians feel that nail forms are harder to apply than tips. We just talked about that. However, it only takes a bit of practice to master this technique. Okay, you got to practice. If I told you that there were no more tips in this world, you'd figure out how to do sculpted nails, wouldn't you? Okay, so you got to have that little bit of a free edge, and if you don't have a free edge, you have to create it. Now, let me explain something about those bitten nails again. When we're doing bitten nails, when you use a tip on bitten nails, how is that going to work? First of all, what are you gluing the nail to?
Skin.
A bunch of skin.
Yep.
Don't stick. Acrylic don't stick.
Acrylic ain't gonna stick to the skin either, right? But when you're gluing that tip down to the skin, you don't have a foundation, okay? So that's why I said, and at the end of the day, we want our nails, remember when we blend the tips, we want the tip really not to be there, let's be honest. The tip is just a guide for us. When you're sculpting a nail, you've got that form, now your tip is 100% acrylic and it's all one piece. There's no line of demarcation. Remember when we talked about how you drop a glass on that bit, or you break a mug and you glue it back together, then you drop it again and guess where it breaks? Same spot every time, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got that line of demarcation or that weak point when you've got tips, which is where you glued it, where you blended it, where, you see what I'm saying? With sculpted nails, there is no weak spot. It is a one whole piece. It is completely attached in like a brick, all one piece of concrete. Like, you see what I'm saying? So the form is a guide to help you extend the nail. Now, there's so many different types of forms out here, and we're going to look at many, okay? And as far as the guide is concerned, you've got numbers here. You don't even have that with tips. You get the client and you say to them, how long do you want it? They're like, oh, about this long. Girl, what is this long? So this long, are you talking about this long from a fingernail to fingernail, or this long in between? Like, which one are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? With a form, you have the ability to actually show them a number on here. So the number is going to tell you the length of the nail, okay? And this is why when people ask me, where do I measure the length when I'm cutting tips? Do I measure from the cuticle to the tip, or from the tip of the nail to the tip? Well, this will tell you right here. What do you think the answer is? From the tip of the nail to the number. Because everybody's nail bed is different in length. Your nail bed in your on your pointer finger, index finger, is different in length than the nail bed of your pinky finger. And what if you've got a nail injury or something that maybe one of your nails you bite all the time way down here? You've got to go from the tip of the nail, the tip of the finger, not the free edge, the tip of the finger to the length, the tip of the to the number here on here, or your tip where you're cutting. Okay, so that'll answer that right there. Now, there's different types of forms out here. We've got disposable forms, which are my favorite. And I found these, and I'm going to tell you that the way the color of this box will tell you that this is old school. I found these. These are reusable forms. Right here, these are reusable. The only disadvantage with these, though, is they may not fit everybody's. Remember, some people have high hyponychiums. Some people have low hyponychiums. Some people have square nail beds when it comes to the shape. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a second, and I hope that I'm going to be able to show you guys exactly what I mean when we talk about the shape of someone's natural nail. Okay, because some people, if you look at your natural nail, when I look at my natural nail, I've got one, this middle one's square, this other one right here is kind of oval. Then I got a high hyponychium on my pinky. And you probably are like, what am I talking about? That's going to matter when it comes to putting forms on, okay? There's basic form fitting, and then there's advanced form fitting where you got to cut and trim and customize the form, okay? So, the disposable ones obviously can be thrown away. These you can sanitize and reuse. But again, they don't fit on everybody. And these are pretty cool, so I'll let you guys see those in a minute. Now, these forms have an adhesive back on them. Buying forms that are quality with good sticky backs on them is very important. Let me tell you, putting these forms on, and you spend all this time fitting it and putting it on, and then it goes bloop, pops open. It will drive you insane, especially if you've got some cheap forms. Not to mention the size of the forms. Okay, so we've got forms that have these really big wings on them. I call them wings. See the wings on these? Get the wings on that butterfly right there. And that's going to help you when you wrap this around the client's nail and you press this together. It's going to stay closed because it's got a big old wing there. Nice big wing. Okay. But when you have one, let's just say like this. This one, these have a pretty nice wing on them, but it could pop open a lot easier than one that's got 3 wings.
Yeah.
Right? So, there we go. Let me go to the slide that I need here. Oops, didn't need to do that. That is the wrong one, so I can't get out of here. That's the completely wrong chapter. I'm on chapter 9. I don't need to be in this one at all. So, hold on. Anyway, so we've got the sticky back ones, and again, like I said, these bigger ones are better. So I'm going to pass some of these around so you guys can see the different shapes. Okay, now the reason I have all these, y'all, is because I was at one point designing my own forms. Okay, pass these around so they can see all these different shapes. I was designing my own forms so that I could have my own, my own brand. Because Tammy Taylor has her own, right? These are Tammy Taylor forms. These right here, these are Max Estrada's E-Nail Couture forms. Love these. Love these. These are one of my favorites. They're so big and so sticky. Okay, it's such an important thing to have is that sticky back. And the bigger, the longer the form, you have more options. For those clients that want them extra long nails, you can sculpt any shape, any length that you want. Okay, so have you guys ever seen like the Russian stilettos and the blade edge nails and things like that?
I think the
Russian stilettos and stuff like that. Those forms, those types of nails must be done on a form. They must be done on the form. You cannot do them with a tip. Now, with my tips, I was able, and if you look on my TikTok, you'll see some nails I did. They were done with my tips. And they were called edge nails, the blades, the ones that look like they look like a blade. They have like a spine down the middle. They have a spine down the middle. Those I did with my tips, but I had to bend my tip to get that spine. Yeah. With a form, all you got to do is bend the form and then put it on the nail, and then you sculpt it with that bend in it. Okay, so there we go. Now we're in there. I wanted to make sure I had my forms up here for you guys. I mean my files. So having the skill of doing sculpted nails is going to help you offer your clients more services. What about those clients that have those we'll just say those extra long wide nail beds? What about them?
Yeah.
What about your clients? Let's just say, because I have a few male clients that wear nails. I mean, they're females at night. They dress in drag and stuff like that, but they wear their nails. Okay, long. A lot. Sometimes men's. I probably couldn't fit a single tip on any one of his fingers, not even his pinky, because his fingers are so big, like wide, right? So, with that being said, again, now you've broadened your clientele, okay, when it comes to forms. Now, there's different types of forms, not just paper forms. There's foil, okay, foil forms. And then you have these really cool clear ones. What do you think these clear ones are for? What do you think the clear ones are for? Why would you need a clear form versus a paper form that's opaque that you can't see through? Gel, absolutely. So let's talk about gel real quick because we haven't gotten to the gel chapter yet. But when it comes to gel, ever notice when you're doing a dark color that the dark color sometimes doesn't cure all the way, or it'll have a ripple, it'll fold, looks like, or it's wet. underneath and it'll peel off and you're like, it kind of looks like a water bed, like, right? The reason for that is because gel, the only way gel cures is with the light, okay? And if you've got a dark color, the light can't penetrate through it, okay? Like blacks are hard. You really got to apply black. These nails I did last night, you want to make sure that you're applying a thin coat, that first coat. You don't want to, it does not do you any good to do thick coats of polish when it comes to gel. Because the light has to be able to penetrate through it. And if it doesn't penetrate through it, then you'll end up with wet on the bottom layer. So if I was because you can sculpt gel nails. If I was sculpting a gel nail and I put it in the light, how is the light going to get through the paper if the paper is not clear to the underside? So you'll sometimes, if you're doing poly gel, you'll see that you take the form off and you'll pull it back and it'll be still wet underneath, like you didn't even just sculpt that nail, but it'll be cured on top, but not on the bottom. Okay? So the benefits of a clear form are for gel nails. Okay? And I mean, I've seen forms that don't have no guidelines on them whatsoever. And that's because some nail techs you don't need it. You can see a straight line, can't you? You can see a straight line with your eye to cut the tip. You can do the same thing when you're laying your acrylic in your tips and stuff. So I just love forms, and I have plenty of different ones, and they all different shapes and all different sizes for all different reasons and different clients. Okay, so they're usually sold in 100 to 500 a piece. You want to get them in rolls like this because think about it, you're using 10 at a time. What if you mess one up? So when I send you guys the state board, I send you guys the state board with like 5 or 6 of them just in case you mess around and you mess up that nail, you got to put another one on, which would be horrible, right? So we want to make sure we practice this a lot in class. All right. So, you're going to peel these off the back, and when you peel them off, it's just a piece of paper. Right? So if you fold this and you fold it too much, what can happen is the form can collapse and it'll have a bend in it. And that's not going to be a pretty nail, is it? So what I like to do is take this little part right here and you're going to stick it on the back of the form, and that's going to give you a little bit more strength. Look how that's popping back a little bit. It's not bending and staying. All right? So reinforcing the form with that little sticky middle part will help you be able to get that nice shape that you're looking for, okay? So applying this to someone's finger is not as hard as new beginners make it seem. It really isn't. There is a perforated back most of the time on the back of these for those clients that do have wide nails, or when you're applying it to the thumb, you may not be able to stick the form on as good, okay? So opening that up will make it so you can stick it in. Now you'll see Tammy Taylor. Tammy Taylor holds the Guinness Book World Records of the fastest set of nails using a set of forms. Okay, she did it in 18 minutes. Was it 18 minutes? I had a tickle in my throat.
You all right? Need some water?
Probably, yeah. Just a little tickle. I don't know where it came from. When you get to talking, that's what happens. So you start running your mouth. Oh, let me pass this around to you guys. This is you can try and see how it's a little aluminum nail form. It's pretty cool. Holds on pretty tight. Thank you, baby. Nice and tight. Am I able to? Are my things on there?
No. It's not showing me on the slide.
Is it not sharing?
On the Zoom.
Oh, is that? Oh, because we've got to do AirPlay share. Let me do this.
It fits snugger than I thought it would.
They do fit snug.
That little metal piece helps.
See, Bluetooth, that's working on. There we go. Mary's Zoom MacBook Air. I was saying unable to connect, so that's nice. Okay. So, y'all see that? It's pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. So for those that are looking on the Zoom, you can see here. Okay. Now, when you're putting this on a person's finger, you want to make sure that you take the form and you want to give it a little roll. Okay, so first I'm going to take this little piece off, put it on the back. And what I mean by rolling it, your fingers curved, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give it a so that it bends here. Okay, y'all see? So now look, I got a little curve in that. Because unless the client's nail is flat, which usually, you know, they're not that flat, paper flat, but it helps for you to be able to fit it on there so much easier. Okay. When you're applying this to a client's finger, you want to fit it up underneath, and I'm going to put it on my, since these are shorter. It's so much easier for you to go ahead and put the tip together. Press it together. Because if you don't, you could end up with a crooked form. And what I mean by that is, if you just go ahead and apply it like this, and just say, okay, I'm just going to put it on, and then I'm just going to press it together, and there we go. Look at that. That's not going to be straight. You can look at it and see that this is not straight. So if you apply this paper that is perfectly put together, it's perfectly even on both sides, and try your best. You're not going to get it perfect. You're human, right? But try your best to get it so that it is even on both sides. So now you got a nice round little hole right there. Okay. If you're putting it on somebody with a small finger or a normal size finger, you should be able to take this form, put it under the free edge, and you want to make sure that the form fits from lateral sidewall to lateral sidewall, nail fold to nail fold, okay? Got to. Because if you don't put it from underneath, the acrylic's gonna go on top instead of, going on top of it's gonna be a little notch right there. If you've ever tried to put a form on somebody and it didn't fit perfectly, which no one's ever does, if it didn't fit perfectly, by the time you finish the nail, you end up with a little notch right there. And then what happens when they rub their hair or they touch something and it catches, it's going to snag, right? So placing this on the nail, what I always do is I put it on at an angle, fit it up underneath the sidewall to sidewall, and then we rock it back until this part lays on top of the skin, okay? Once it lays on top of the skin, you want these lines to be straight. They're guidelines, okay? You want these lines to be straight. If the lines are not straight, let's just say I put it like this, because this is what I see all the time. Now, you almost can't help it when you're doing it on the mannequin, because the mannequin is not going to bend their finger or none of that. What I see all the time is this. That's not it, y'all. That's not it. That's going to give you a nail, and then you've got this gap right here. And when you have that gap right there, hey Cass, when you have that gap right there, you have more acrylic under the nail than you do on top of the nail. And so what does that mean? Our apex is supposed to be where? On top. So if you've got more acrylic underneath the fingernail or a thicker nail underneath than you have on top, then that's going to give you a very weak nail. That nail is going to break. Why? Because there's no acrylic on top. It's thin on the top. So it's just going to go. Does that make sense? Okay. So that right there, if you got too much of that, it's all right to have a little because everybody's finger is different. But what you really want is for the nail to fit underneath and for this to be completely straight, okay? And then the sidewalls, this needs to be flat against the nail. So then you take this and you're going to squeeze it together very carefully so that it hugs the nail completely. If it hugs the nail completely, you ain't got to worry about it coming off. Okay? And this is also part of having a very good form, one that is not flimsy and stuff like that. Okay, so applying it it takes a lot of practice. All right, and that's what you guys hopefully will get here. All right, so let's move forward to people with the reusable nail forms. So we've already talked about that. So let's get into the shapes that you can do with these nail forms. Now, most nail forms have, like this one, for instance, just has a straight line across it. Very simple, straight to the point. But what if I want to do a round nail? You have to eyeball it if you don't have a form. But a lot of these forms, and when you guys looked at those forms, some of them have multiple shapes in them. For instance, this one. Can we go straight to me? So you see how these forms have the guideline with the curve in it. And some of them, you guys are looking at those over there, some of them may have the round part. Some of them have stiletto. Right? So purchasing your forms is really personal. Like a lot of people say to me, well, what are your favorite forms? Well, I mean, that's like saying, who is my favorite client? The one that pays me, the one that tips me, the one that gets the most expensive nails that I do and doesn't complain, right? So at the end of the day, I don't have a favorite form. I like a form that can do everything, right? A form that has all options. Will you pass this, give that to them, and show them that form? So this is the E-Nail Couture form that I was talking about. So when I got ready to design my forms, I wanted them to be almost identical to his, like the shape, the length, because these, I mean, who's getting their nails much longer than this? I mean, you got to think the paper is, my nails are still, I could get them even longer with this paper, okay? But if you look at his forms, you could get almond, square, stiletto. It's got all those shapes in it. Now why? So this is what I like to call, and when you look at this form right here, this is just a standard form, okay? Standard form. When you look at this form, it's got a round circle, right? Well, how come this one, I like to call it the Snapchat ghost. Why does this one have the Snapchat ghost? So you got those clients that got those, you know, those lateral nail folds, the skin, it's kind of, it's a little plus size, right? And if you look down at your nail, you'll see that not all of your nails are slim. Some people's nails have a lot of skin coming out the side. So if I take a form like this that's round and I try to put it on a client who has those really, really fat, we'll just call them fat nails, okay? I like to call it the muffin top. You know, when your pants too tight and it comes over the sides. Same thing kind of with your nails, right? If I lay this form down and their muffin top is too sticking out, it's going to force my form to flatten out. And I won't have that nice C curve. I'm going to have a flat nail, okay? The more this here curves, the more I can press it down, the nicer and more of a C curve I'm going to have. So if I've got a client with those muffin tops that's holding that form up like this, then I can't get that nice curved slender nail, okay? So you may have to customize a form like this, meaning cut the sides out exactly like this one. Where'd it go? This one already has the sides cut out. See the little wings, the Snapchat ghost? So having a form that is more easily customizable, meaning, or you can customize it to the client's nail versus having to do all this cutting and shaping, trying to make it fit, will make your job a whole lot easier. Okay? This high point right here in the middle, what do you think that's for? Remember, think about your free edge. What if they have a high hyponychium? What about those clients that's got that skin growing out from underneath here? Can you just shove a form under there and make it fit? It's gonna hurt if you try to shove it in there. It's gonna hurt. So you may have to, with a form that's like this, you may have to cut a little round piece out. But guess what? This form already has it. But what if you have, all you got is this form, and they don't have a high hyponychium? Now when you lay acrylic's going to fall into that hole. It's going to fall down into the hole. That wouldn't be good, because now you got acrylic all under here. Now you're going to have to take your E-file and drill out from under there, right? So what would we do in that case? So much easier to fix than it is to have to cut. What I would do in that case is I would take this form that has, see, if you put this under the nail, you'll notice on, let's just even do it on my finger. And I put this under the nail, under my nail, and this nail is long. Let me put a short one. Put this, let me put it together. I always told you to put these tips, put the wings together first. The wings together. So now when I put this on my nail, and I'm gonna show y'all up close on the screen here. Press that down in the back. Put this form on, connect the tip, the wings in the back. Look at the hole. Got a hole right there. Look on the screen, y'all. Y'all see the hole right there? A little bit of a hole right there. Okay? When I lay my acrylic, it's going to fall down in the hole. In that hole. And if it falls down in that hole, then I've got to clean out from with my E-file and drill that out. So now what am I doing to the nail? I'm thinning it out again. Okay? So how would I fix that? Make it so that hole ain't there. All I got is this form. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this form right here. I'm going to take, remember that little piece of paper? This little piece? Now we're going to put it right here. Put it in on the back. So now that hole is no longer an issue. So these forms are so much better to have because you don't have to do so much cutting and customizing, because you can cut and customize a form. You can. You absolutely can. But you don't want to if you don't have to. It takes a lot of time. And I'm going to tell you now, when you got those clients that just will not sit still, they want to sit there and they want to be on their phone and they got these forms. Let me tell y'all a little story time real quick. I had a lady, bless her heart, but she came to me on the worst day ever. She had a bladder infection. And you know when you got to pee every 5 minutes when you got a UTI. And she wanted sculpted nail. And I was doing the prep. She's like, oh, I got to pee. Can I get up? I'm like, she all right? So I let her went on ahead and go. She washed her hands, came back. I didn't mind, doing the primer and the dehydrator again. But then when I got ready, I got all the forms on and she was like, oh, I got to pee. And she got up and she ran to the back. She came back and she was like, and I was like, so first of all, you didn't wash your hands. Either you didn't pat yourself dry or whatever, or you didn't wash your hands, which is nasty either way. And then you gonna and then all the form, all of them was gone, just hanging off. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I said, ma'am, I can't do your nails today. I just spent 45 minutes doing the prep and like putting the forms on. Because it take me 15 minutes to lay the acrylic. That part ain't nothing. But customizing the form, I was just like, I'm sorry. And she had to pay me for my time. She had to. She was going to pay me every dime that she owed me. Because we could have rescheduled.
Yeah, but once you put them back on, she gonna have to pee again.
Right.
We've been all day doing this.
I didn't have time to redo the forms. It was too much. I spent too much time fitting those forms to her nails for her to be going there. And, it was just too much. And I felt bad for her, but not as bad as I needed my money. We're not talking about no $25 nails here. We're talking about a $200 set. You got that's a whole bill. That's half of my car payment. One of them. So she had to pay. So, you know, making sure that you're able to do these, to fit the form and make it easier for you rather than having to spend all that time cutting and shaping, using these forms will come in handy, okay? Or being able to customize it, or having a one that's already easily customizable will be coming in handy. So picking forms is completely personal, okay? But at school, we are going to apply generic, simple forms. And at State Board, this is what I'm going to send you with. If you want to show up with one of these and that's on you, good luck. It's a lot. These are extra long and extra, you know, extra work. Trying to put it, anytime you're putting it on that plastic hand, it's extra work. At the end of the day, it's extra work. Okay, so this hand, which this is one of them bendy ones, all right. You're gonna have your nail already on, right? And it's short, just like a natural nail. So when you guys go to State Board, it's very important that you don't show up with no nails like this. You're gonna have a hard time trying to get that form on, putting it on properly, and making sure that it's, you know, on this. It's not gonna be easy. Okay. Now you guys absolutely can use your claw hands and all that stuff in school, but when we do our State Board, because we're getting to the point now, all we had left to do was the sculpted nail. Y'all did learn the soak off, right? Oh no, I did that in the other class. Well, we're gonna do the soak off, which you guys will have the video that I did with the other class. It's very simple. The soak off, you got to soak off this sculpted nail, right? That's the State Board. So y'all are ready to start doing the practice exams that we've done, State Board practice. So starting next Saturday, we're gonna do a full State Board practice, okay, from start to finish. Y'all did fine with the manicure, right? You did great with the manicure. So putting this on this mannequin hand is not that fun, but it can be done. And so what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna demonstrate this all over again, but I just kind of want to give you an idea. You put the form on the back. We're going to press this form together. Just the tip. Don't squeeze all the way back here, because if you squeeze all the way back here, how you gonna fit the finger in there? Okay? So just the tip. A little hole right here. Then we're gonna take this nail, this form. I'm gonna bend Sally's hand back here. And you wanna put it right under the free edge. And it's not easy to do on this mannequin because she don't bend, right? Right under the free edge of that tip. And then rock it back. And you're gonna have a little bit of a gap because like I said, she got a straight finger, it don't bend. So you wanna make sure that she's on there. So I always, but see, it's just a little flap. It ain't sticking straight up. Then we're gonna bring this all the way around and secure it to the finger like that. When you guys do this at State Board, how long you gonna make this nail?
Short.
Please make it as short as you can make it. Don't go in there trying to impress nobody, okay? And we're gonna do a short square nail. You know why? Because when you take this form off and it go like that, and it's not really straight, what can you do? You can change the shape. You can say, okay, well, I don't really have no straight line to make a square because I did it a little crooked. Now I can turn it into, I don't know, a coffin or a stiletto. They don't care what shape you make it. I just say the square, it's like building, you know, making a carpenter. If you start with a square block, you can turn it into anything, right? But if you start with a stiletto, you can't make it a square. So if you're aiming for a stiletto and the tip break, what are you gonna do, right? So we're gonna sculpt this nail in just a minute. What are we gonna need to sculpt it? And you guys should have everything in your kits. Okay? You got your monomer, you got your damping dishes, right?
Brush your powder.
Your brush, your powder. Now at State Board, it is going to be optional to use primer and dehydrator. So what does that mean?
I ain't using
We ain't using it. Because at the end of the day, this is a plastic hand. So in your kits, there is no dehydrator, there is no primer in the kit for State Board. Now you guys have some because I gave y'all some, right? Everybody got some, okay? For when you working on humans, but dehydrator and primer ain't gonna work on a plastic hand. Okay? It's just gonna sit there. All right? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull out everything that I need, and I need the top view so that I can do this demonstration. Okay? Kind of waiting on you a little bit.
The only thing I don't have is the monitor.
Okay.
And
Don't worry, I got monomer for you. Not a problem. I know, baby. I know. But we definitely have to do Zoom.
So what?
We got people in the Zoom, that's what I said. Okay, so, and I want to do this on someone's actual finger today, so you guys can see what it's like to do it on a human. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop this share.
Can you go to my share?
Yeah. I
Via
can
cable?
Do it via cable. Share via cable. Is that working? Okay, so y'all can bring your stuff out.
Yeah, it's working.
I work some of the clear
Yes.
things too that you
Perfect.
put on here. I don't know how good they might
So, and we're gonna get our view so you guys can see from above. Okay, so we'll work on that. Let me get my brush. I'm gonna use the same
Dang,
size
you go
brush.
the brush that I was looking for last week.
Oh Lord, you done found it.
Thank you, Lord.
You done found the
Thank you for
brush.
the little things. I mean, I'm all
now.
under my bed trying to find that thing. I looked again this morning.
Okay, but I need the view from
Just
above.
look at this bag.
All right, my love. I know you got me.
You logged in the Zoom too?
I'm logged into Zoom.
Yes.
Sorry, we're upside down, but don't worry, we're gonna flap this down so you guys can see. Okay.
I'm going around my house and see if I can find one of them.
Okay.
Where was it in there?
We're gonna turn upside down, the right side in just a second. We're flopping this down. Flopping this down.
The one by my house so junky. I hate to go in there.
It's probably in there too.
I know. They have a bunch of little stuff that's marked down.
Just give us a second, y'all.
I'm so glad I found this darn brush.
Which brush was it?
The first one that you gave us to practice with.
Oh, good,
And
good.
you know, I got like a little box that I had stuff in at home, so I thought maybe I had just put it in there, and I never could find it. The whole time I had been stuck it in one of them bags.
Good gracious.
And
I hid it from
find
myself.
I'm talking about I'm all under the bed trying to ding on. Maybe it fell. That's gonna make life easier for me right there.
You talk to your TikTok about so
Can you put it right here? Because I'm not using this no more. I can't. Put this on. Okay, you guys. Set me up. Set me up.
I'm gonna get the test done today.
You gonna be the test dummy today?
Yeah, I got one nail that's shorter than all the rest of them. So this will make all of them even now.
Okay. Yes, so you guys on TikTok, you are not going to get to see us do this demonstration of a sculpted nail live. These are for our paid students only that are in the Zoom. Okay. We are going to get you guys flipped over in just a second.
Can we come up and watch it?
You can come sit behind me. Oh, it's gonna be big on the screen.
Okay.
For you guys. That's the one. This way. This way. Absolutely the other way. Sorry. Okay. All right.
Where you got your little boxes from, Johnny's?
Which one? Oh,
I like them real
we went and saw
good.
Johnny
What time-
yesterday.
You know what time they open on Sunday?
yeah, early.
Okay.
Like 10 o'clock.
All right. I just
Yeah.
gotta make sure I'm home by 1 o'clock for the games. Come on.
Ooh, child, we be at church.
I said I was gonna go to church in the morning, but we be out of church by 11 o'clock, so we'll go with my mom.
All right, perfect.
Oh yeah, we be out. We don't church start at 9:30. We getting up out of there 11 o'clock. We gone.
Okay. So for my Zoom people,
Tell me what you want to do. Just talk to me. Don't touch. Just talk to me.
okay. It's good. It's good.
I only got one short nail, so.
Okay, for my Zoom folks. All right, so what I'm doing here is I've got my powder. Remember, we're doing this. This is a state board one. Okay. If you need to bring a chair up, you can. Bring a chair up. You grab her a chair.
Yes, I will.
She got it. She figured it out. Can you see up there, or you can see on the screen? Okay, good. Okay. I'm gonna take my monomer, and y'all look like I told y'all before. You can pour your monomer much easier if you put it up against your brush here. Put it into your bowl. All right. Got the students here. All right. So I got my powder. When you guys go to state board, the only thing you need the dampen dish for is the liquid, because you can leave it in the container. All right. But I'm gonna, if you bring your regular container, but when I send it to you, it comes in one of those. Send you to state board. It comes with one of those little in 1 ounce bottles, so you can pour it into your dampen dish. Okay. So I've got my table set up. I'm gonna have this one here to be able to wipe my brush. All right. Now, make sure your brush, I'm only pouring what I need, because you know this liquid gold. We don't want to use too much of our monomer if we don't have to. Okay. So now I'm gonna take my form. We're just using a generic form. I'm gonna take this form, pull off the little sticker here. It doesn't matter if you put it backwards, forward, it does not matter, okay? Place that on the form here. I'm gonna turn this over, and I'm gonna give myself a little roll here, okay? And I'm doing that so that I can fit it under the free edge of this nail. Now, when you go to state board, you're gonna push back the fake cuticle. You're gonna buff the free, buff the tip so that it is prepared for you to lay the acrylic, just like, because you remember it's pretend. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll it, and I'm gonna go ahead and pinch the tip of my form very, very carefully so that it's as close to perfect as possible. If you pinch this more, what shape are you gonna get? Meaning, if I pinch this form all the way to the tip,
Oh yeah, you gonna
A flat one.
coffin or stiletto. But I'm gonna talk to you guys more about how you can shape, how you pinch these to get certain shapes, right? Because you wouldn't get stiletto if you only put the acrylic to the line 2, would you?
Mm-hmm.
You get a coffin shape. So true stilettos are sculpted, period. Why is that? Anybody know?
Tips don't come.
Because if I take a flat tip like this one here, this tip flat, and I turn it into a stiletto, what's it going to be? Is it going to have a C curve at all?
Mm-mm.
So what happens to a nail with no C curve? Boop.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why I only wear these Gel-X that are the sculpted shape. Because look at my C curve. It goes all the way to the tip of the nail. It has a C curve that starts from here and stops at the tip of the nail. This is why reshaping, when I sculpt stilettos, can't nobody ask me for a cut down. How? You cut all the shape out and then you end up with a weak nail. Okay? So when you're sculpting stilettos, when you pinch this form, you're going to ask your client and you're going to say, what length do you want your stiletto to be? And if they say, I want it to be to the 5, Miss Mary, you're going to say, oh, I pinch it like, I'm going to pinch my form like that. Is that right? No, because when I get ready to sculpt this out and I stop my acrylic at the 5, is it going to be a stiletto?
No.
It's going to be a very narrow coffin. Right. So when you're sculpting stilettos, you got to pinch it right to where you want the acrylic to stop. Now, when I lay my acrylic, it's going to have a C curve that goes clean to the top, to the 5. Does that make sense, y'all? Mm-hmm. So if I pinch this, so when I'm shaping, putting my forms on, if I want a square nail, I want to leave the hole open. See the hole? Leave the hole open. Circle. Because now when I lay it, look, straight. I can see my guidelines. They're straight. If I want a coffin nail, then I'm going to give myself an oval hole. If I want what I call tapered coffins, where it almost looks like a stiletto, it's like a broken, I call them broken stilettos. I'm going to bring it all the way to the point where it looks like it's going to be a stiletto nail. Close the hole. Because if I put it on there, look how narrow my coffin's going to be. Look at the shape of the form from the top. Okay? Does that make sense? So this is why forms are so much a skill that you really want to have, because you can customize anybody's shape, anybody's nail, right? Now let me take it one step further. Because you know your teacher don't be slacking. If you wanted to do, let's say you want to do them edge nails that I was telling you about. How are we going to do that? Well, don't take the form off the paper just yet. We're going to take that form and we're going to put a bend in it right on that line. Boop. Look at that. Now it's got that spine in it. Right? So now when I take it off, and I put it on the client and I put my form together. Look at that. We got that. And now when I lay my acrylic, I got that spine in there, and it's going to give me that edge shape that I'm looking for. Can't do that with a tip. You would have to do a lot of bending on that tip and hope it don't break. Right? So if somebody asked me for some edge nails, someone asked me how much those nails cost, the ones that were on my TikTok, the red ones that I did for Valentine's Day last year. You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. You're not paying for it. Because they were done with tips, but if I did them sculpted, you're talking about $600 easy. $700. Okay? So, look at you.
Oh.
All right, so let's do this now. Just a simple square. So I'm going to take this form off, put my little circle on the back. Go ahead and this is what you're going to do at Stay Board, y'all. Go ahead and put your little tip together. Just hold it very, 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 very to the tip, just to the tip. And then we're going to place it on the nail. Now when we do this, you're going to find the tip of the nail, go and rock it up, meaning put it up under the free edge and rock it up, okay? It's not going to fit perfect like a regular human, okay, because this is a plastic hand. Yeah. Put it on the free edge, up underneath. It's got to go from sidewall to sidewall, okay? Rock it up until it touches, okay? This is not easy to do on the mannequin, all right? So hold the finger. under the free edge, rock it back, hold that there. Now squeeze it around so that it is secure, okay? And then if you got a little bit here, I like to take it and bend it down. See that? She can see better on that big one right there.
They got you on camera.
Okay. So now, that's underneath from sidewall to sidewall. You want this to be secure. A little tip for you guys. If this pops open, a lot of times this will pop open. Especially if you, let me rewind. Sculpt one hand at a time when you're starting out. You know why? Because your client's going to be like, girl, hold on, I got to use my phone. Doot, 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 doot. While you sculpting this hand, and this one's got the forms on it, and then by the time you get back to this hand, she done ruined this hand of forms. They all twisted, one done popped open. Just do one hand at a time, okay? Until you get your speed up. My clients know better. No phones on. Not while I'm sculpting your nails. No, ma'am. No. You can't do it. Or get you one of those little pins so they can, but still, if you're paying this kind of money for nails, no phones on, all right? So, the form is on. Now we're gonna get into our sculpting, okay? So I've only got enough in here for one nail. I'm not trying to waste all my good monomer here, all right? So I'm going in. This is what I want you guys to do. It's gonna be just like we did our ratio, when we did our ratio. Okay, 3 beads, 4th bead for the apex. All right, so we're going in, push away, pick up a bead. All right, let it flow. I'm gonna press it down make it touch the contact area. Contact area meaning where the form meets the tip. Don't start out here. Don't do that. We're doing a short, look at it's falling to the sides. That's good. You can't do that with tips, can you? Now if it falls over, we're gonna bring it back. Bring it back. Pat it down. Bring it back. Good. Pat you down. Very, very good. Bring it over. Make it meet side walls, okay? Why do we want to start there on where the acrylic meets the tip? Why?
Make that strong form.
You want it to attach. It needs to attach. If it doesn't attach, what if I started out here, way out here, and I'm like, I'm gonna build my way back, and then the form shifts? Disastrous.
Can
Okay.
you back up an inch for us?
Oh,
There you
I'm
go.
sorry. Here we go. Okay, y'all see that? Make your shape first. Y'all remember doing this on the paper. This is why we did the ratio first. This is why y'all practice this part first. This is no different than the paper. What is this? A piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. Okay? Boop, boop. So now that's nice and smooth. Now what are we going to do? Go in. We're going to do our second bead. Pick it up. Okay, wait a second for it to polymerize, and we're going to lay it right behind that one. Slide it forward. Bring it in. How hard is that? So easy, right? Control your acrylic. Don't let it control you. Y'all see that? Smooth. Nice, smooth application. Okay? Now, going in one more time. Smaller bead. Tip the nail forward so that it don't go into your cuticle area. Press it. Let it flow. Clean your brush.
Thank you.
Now, bring it forward. Easy. Easy.
That's what I gotta work on, not putting in that cuticle.
You got to tip that nail forward. Don't give it a chance to. If the heel running down, they say what they say, doo-doo rolls downhill, don't it? You can't go up. So you're going to put it forward. That's the biggest thing a lot of nail techs have a problem with is flooding the cuticle area. And what happens in this, because this is what I don't want to see y'all doing.
Yeah, putting it around, yeah.
Why? It's touching the skin, and why do we not want the monomer to touch the skin?
So it'll burn it
Allergy.
and stuff.
You're gonna end up building.
Right. It's an allergy. You'll end up with an allergy, right? Contact dermatitis, overexposure. This is why you should be wearing gloves if you're not, your application is to the point where, because you ever seen where your brush gets all caked up with acrylic and stuff like that? That's because what you're doing is you're going in and you're tilting your brush up, and now the monomer's running all down your finger. This is the biggest area for nail techs to get an allergy, contact dermatitis on the fingers. Look at you, ain't it? Get an itch. Your finger starts to get, look, you see? You need to be wearing gloves.
So I got some gloves on my table.
You need to be wearing gloves, okay? I don't do nails enough anymore to it don't bother me. But if you're doing nails, and when I was doing nails every day, this part right here between my fingers, oh man. Because that's where the monomer drips down to, okay? So now we're not done with this. If you want to add that fourth bead, right, we'll go in, pat, 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 a little bitty one right here. Lay it in that fourth zone right there. Let it flow. Clean your brush. Always clean the brush. Go in. And then we're going to hold it at an angle, 45-degree angle towards the cuticle. And then we're going to flatten it out and bring it forward. Y'all see that? Y'all see it. I know y'all see it. All right. Simple. Easy. Okay. Now, when do we know when this is ready to take off the form? Very, very, very bad idea to take it off before it's ready. Okay? If you pull this off while it's not cured, and you'll know because it'll start to weeble wobble on you, and it'll be crooked, or it might have a dent in the side, okay? How do we know when this is ready to take off?
It's gonna turn on matte color, and you can use your
Not
brush.
shiny, matte, right? And once it goes matte, before you pull it off, what are you gonna do?
Check it with
Check
Tap
it.
it.
tap of a brush.
You see, you hear it? Yeah. The tip might be cured because remember, I took a little time to do this. But what about back here?
Nope.
You hear that hollow sound? That's the difference. But you need to make sure that it is all the way cured from the cuticle to the tip, to the free edge. Okay? Now, when we pull this off, are we just going to snatch it off? Why not?
Mess up your
But
nail.
first it didn't hurt the customer.
Well, yeah, there you go. And that's the only reason, really. Now, I do snatch them every now and then if that heifer was late. I'm just be honest and be like, cha-chow! No, I'm just kidding. If they don't tend to tip, you know, we just snatch it off real quick. You know, that hurt. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. Right? But how are we going to pull it off?
Squeeze the bottom first.
Squeeze it to release and then snatch it off?
And lift. Push down.
Pull down. Right. Why? Remember, you got that hyponychium, that skin underneath the free edge. You do that to a client with a high hyponychium and they may not come back to you. All right? Because it hurts. All right? So, before I snatch it off, what do I need to do?
Check it.
Check it.
Hey.
We good now.
We good now, right? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to squeeze it. See how it released from the sides? And I'm going to pull down. Pull away.
Ah.
Throw that away, right? Throw that in the garbage, not to be reused. So now when we shape it, we're going to shape this tip. It's the same as any other tip. That's why you guys already did the shaping and the blending of the tips. You've already, done that with plastic tips already. So now it's the same thing. Nothing changed. Now, one thing I like to tell my clients, because they always be like, is it going to look like that? Look at the side. Look at the side. Look at it. Is it going to look like, but this is my first time doing this. I've never done this before. But I let them know, sculpted nails look crazy until they're done. Trust the process, okay? Especially when you're doing those French tips, and because you got to get the white like all the way up to the smile line, and you got white everywhere, and they're like, oh my God, is this how it's going to look? I'll be like, yeah, girl, that's how it's going to look. All right. So we're going to take the side. File the side straight. Straight with the sidewall. Straight. Don't be tempted to get in here and because you're going to cause a hook, a little notch right there. Okay? Sidewall. Sidewall. Sorry, Sally don't want to. Sidewall, sidewall. Tip. Look how perfect already. Y'all know those little edges of the tip when you do a plastic tip, it gets rough, and it's my biggest pet peeve. I can always tell an unskilled nail tech when they're showing their little pictures on the and all I see is polish just hanging off the edge because the plastic tip, it leaves these little rough edges. Sculpted nails don't do that. When you take this file and you go underneath, I'm filing underneath in a straight line. Look how perfect that sidewall is. No little funky pieces of plastic hanging off the edge there. All right, so now we've got a perfectly shaped square. Y'all see that? Perfectly shaped square. Address the top and the tip just like before. So we're going to address the tip first. I'm holding my thumb over the client's cuticle area because I don't want to cut them. Here. See my etch marks? Just the tip. Now I'm going to address the cuticle only. Trying my best not to cut the client's cuticle area. Now look, my etch marks. You see, that's my apex. I haven't messed with the apex. You don't want to file the apex off, do you? All right. So I'm wearing nails, so I'm going to protect them because I don't mess them up. Now lightly blend the two together. Y'all see that? Until everything is etched. And that's it. Buff it. At State Board, we're gonna buff it. This is not easy to do on a mannequin hand. Not easy at all. Okay? I'll use this little fluffy brush, use your nylon brush, but that's it. Okay? Y'all see it? Completely straight. That is a sculpted nail, State Board style. Okay? That's what y'all want to do for the rest of the day. Very easy. Now, use your your tape, okay, so that you can pop these off. If you got your claw hand, you even better because you can just throw the tips away and start a new one, okay? And I did buy some. I have some of the claw hands for sale if y'all guys want them. I don't try to make. I just buy them and bring them for you guys to buy them if you want them. Okay. But you got. It looks like everybody got their claw hand. You ain't got one now. You got. There you go. Now those claw hands, the fingers are a little big.
Yes, they are.
Right. And what you want to make sure you do is clip that tip down as low as you can. Okay. You got a claw hand? You want a claw? We have some claw hands in the back. We got the claw hands in the back that they're the schools, and I've got the extra tips. You can use some of mine if you want to try it because it makes it a lot easier. Okay, but that's what you're gonna do. That is the sculpted nail. Now I want to do one on a human. Show you guys how it's done on a human. It's perfect, is it? Oh. Hello, TikTok. Hi, TikTok. Hello.
We got a lot of comments.
You definitely need to join our live Zoom, and there will be a replay for those that missed it. Okay.
They said I think someone said we could pay, but I can't afford to.
Oh, it's okay. You will be. There's a replay.
Yeah, they better use Klarna.
Right.
I want to see as well, but at least she letting us
Klarna
listen for free.
$25.
Let y'all listen for free. Listen, each and every one of these students pay $3,500 to be in this school.
That's right.
Y'all can't get it for free. Period. Period. I'm not doing that to them. I wish my teacher would. I'd be like, wait a minute. You mean I could have went on? I could have sat in my drive.
Let me find out. I could have went on TikTok.
I got students that drive over an hour to be here every day.
They said room
not getting nothing for free.
I love watching you. Rumor is you do the perfect sculpted nail.
That's the rumor. Don't believe everything you hear.
No.
All right. So, y'all see these? This is a perfect example for me to show you guys why you want to cut the free edge, and your nails are so beautiful. No, she's got a short one right
They're
here.
so pretty.
She got a short one right here. We're gonna go with this.
They are pretty.
Okay. But see how pretty she has grown her nails out here?
Mm-hmm.
But look at the shape of this one.
Yeah, that one always bent up.
Look at the tip of
The
it.
only one.
If you would please hold your finger up like this.
One side down.
This side grows lower and this one goes up. So what kind of shaped nail am I going to get if I try to sculpt this nail? Now let me just show you. We're going to put a form on there so you can see what's going to happen if I try to fit this on. Okay.
They said we better hush for she not let us listen.
And look.
I like them.
I love my TikTok people now. TikTok
They
people.
alright with me. They alright.
TikTok people, they
Smart.
found
Let me
me.
be quiet
You
before
got,
she
look,
comes
my
on.
students pay $10 an hour to be here,
Okay.
basically. So we're talking about a 3-hour class for $25, y'all. Come on now, cut it out. All right, so if I put this on this nail, that's extra long, very, very, very pretty shaped long nail here. Okay, when I go to put this under here, first of all, that nail is not growing straight out. It's bending a little down. So I'm forced to put this nail form on with that where it's not going to go straight out. It's going to be a claw nail. It's going to claw down. So when I put this on, look at that. Look how much of that is sticking up in the top. What did I tell you guys about that? So now look at my guidelines. You can see the guideline. The guideline is going down.
You don't want to
Coffee.
it like that.
Well, here's the thing. Curved nails are a thing. But you can't create a curved nail on a straight piece of paper. So what is it going to be? It's not going to be a nice curve. It's going to go straight down. Like that. That's not cute. That's not cute. I mean, it might
The
be
other ones don't grow like that.
for somebody. But this guideline,
Yeah, just a
see how this line is straight on this side? Now this side is straight. This side is straight. It's coming straight out, but it's still sloping down a bit. But this side, oh baby, that thing is straight down. And we've got too much of the product here, paper here. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a nail that slopes down. Sculpted nails should come straight across. Y'all see this nail? It has a curve to it on the top. Think about it. If my nail curves down like this, or straight down in a slope, where's my weak spot? It's gonna break. It's gonna snap. It's going to snap. Right there at the apex, at the free edge. Okay, right at the free edge. This is a sculpted nail that has a curve in it, or a sculpted tip. This is a gel X, but it's a sculpted shape, right? It's still straight. Look at that straight line. Straight.
curve at the top.
The apex is in the top. Okay? So y'all remember them curved claw nails? I used to love them back in the 90s. Curved claw nails. But at the end of the day, they were weak in that where that curve bent from the free edge. Okay? So and it's a look. It's just not a very strong look. Okay? So now I'm gonna put this one on her nail here, and I'm not gonna prep it or anything. That way we can probably just peel it right off. Okay, so I'm gonna put my form together again. I'm going to just the tip, okay, and I'm gonna apply this underneath. See her sidewall, sidewall to sidewall, sidewall to sidewall. If I put it like this, one up and one up. Well, think about it. When I take this off, her natural sidewall is going to be exposed, and then it's going to be a hook there, a little like where everything can get caught. Okay, so it's very important. What if you have a client whose nail is broken and it goes way down here on one side, and one side is there's no sidewall? You're gonna have to customize the form. And that can be done, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to lay it directly on the skin, which is what? Not really advisable. You don't really want to do that if you can help it. Okay? So, we're going to put this form. I'm looking for my guideline to be straight down the middle. Okay? If I put it on like this, it'll fit, right? But look at my guideline is off. So that means I'm going to have a nail that kind of swerves to the side. Curves to the side. I already got a little hook in it. That ain't going to work in nails. It's going to work somewhere else, but not in nails, okay? So you want your client, relax your hand, honey. Relax your hand, honey. All right. I'm going to put that guideline right in the middle. Make sure that the side walls,
Tapping now.
side to side, and press the back. This is how I'm going to do it, even in real life. I press down the back. Now I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to smooth this down. Bring it to the front. Like that. Okay, now see that? Mm-hmm. You want this to be hugging the nail because now a torrential wind could come in and it ain't going nowhere.
And it feels snug.
It feels snug underneath the free edge, right? And that's going to be important because if you have a gap under the free edge, acrylic's going to go under there, and then you got a hook under there. Then you got to clean out from under there, and then what have you done to the structure of the nail? Made it weak. It's thin. It's going to be thin. It's going to snap. Okay? So now I'm going to lay some acrylic on here.
Thank you for not moving your hand. You're going to be my perfect model from now on.
We're going to pour a little bit of monomer into our damping dish the right way. Okay? Clean your brush. Make sure it's prepared all the time for acrylic to be applied. If it's got any dried acrylic in it, you're going to spend an hour trying to get it out before you want to make sure it's always ready. So, go in. This is a perfect view. Too. I'm so happy with it. So you might want to tap on here to make it.
I got you. Make it focus.
There is focus. We got focus. See how I've got the sides, my little meat on the sides is kind of pushing it up. You could always customize this form by doing a little snip right there, and then it releases the pressure off the side. Now you got an even deeper seed curve, but that's a different class. Okay. All right. Going in. Church bells. Going in, coming out. Pick up a bead. I'm going to let that polymerize. See how it's coming together? Turn it to a smooth bead. I'm going to drop it on the contact area. Let it go. Press out your acrylic. Remember how we did on the paper? Press it out. We want to press it out to the sides. Bring it back in. Press it out. Bring it back in.
I'm about to show up to my next appointment preaching about the hook.
Not the hook.
Miss Mary said.
I'll see. Bring it in. Control your acrylic. Don't let it control you. Smooth it out. We want it even and level. If it's too fat on one side and not the other, and how can I tell? I can see through this form. I can see through this acrylic a little bit. If I can see through it on one side but not on the other, then what does that mean? One side thicker than the other. You're going to have to add more acrylic, or you're going to have to bring down one side, right?
Big fun.
He's so proud of himself. Look at him. You get a bonus. You get a bonus. We're gonna upgrade you from janitor.
They said they love the church bells.
Got us a Greek Orthodox church right next door. It goes off every hour. I'm wondering what time it is. I always wait. Okay, so we got our first bead. Our tip, right? Perfect. Is you want that to be, and I know some nail techs that'll go in, do all of that one bead, and then take the forms off and do the last two. Yeah, I've seen that before. They do the contact area because they just work better without the paper on the they can hold the finger better without the paper being on the hands. So you can do that too. Go in, do all 10, just the tip at the free edge, and then take the paper off and do the rest of the nails. Just seems like a little extra work to me. I like to finish them all in one at one time, but it can be done. All right, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick up another bead. Pick it up, let it polymerize. I'm going right behind that one. drop it, press it out, smooth it. Smooth it out. Okay, go in, we're gonna do that last one. This time I'm gonna tip it forward some so that we don't run into our cuticle. All right, right before the cuticle.
Missed the angle for me.
Alright. Now, if you look at it and you're like, I want to add a little more acrylic. I don't think that it's long enough. You can can you do that? Absolutely can with forms.
They said, Miss Mary, you gotta pay to play.
You gotta pay to play.
That's right.
So if I wanted to make this longer, my client said, you know what, I changed my mind. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna go in, pick up a bead. This time, look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna lay it right where I want it, press it, and then smooth it back. Look how I just added a little link to that.
Okay.
You see that?
Oh, so that's how you make it longer on that.
If they change their mind, yeah. Now I done made it longer. I'm gonna make my tip, perfect it.
But they have to change their mind before you take the.
You better change your mind before I take the form off.
I'm trying to tell you.
After that, we'll see you next time. It's gonna grow in 2 weeks. You got that little extra length right then. We won't cut them down next time. Y'all see? And if you look at it and you're like, oh my, well, it looks kind of like I need a little more acrylic, just add some more. That 3 bead method is, now watch this. Right there. Smooth it. Blending is everything. Don't just lay a bead, pow, now you got to file that down. Smooth it out. Go backwards, go forwards. And now you blended it together. Okay? The weight, what was my, you know, I got lots of Maryisms, right? Lay your acrylic like you don't have a file. Lay your acrylic. I see people do this all day like, oh, I'll fix it when I file. Ain't nobody do this for 20 years and you end up like me, waking up in the middle of the night needing some drugs. Okay? For real. Muscle relaxers and stuff. From this spasming from doing this for 20 years, okay? Lay your acrylic like you don't have a file so you work smarter, not harder. Okay? Drops acrylic brush. Now, we're going to check this. Look, that side that I added, it ain't quite ready. So I need to wait. While you're waiting, go ahead and close everything up because we don't want to get filings in our acrylic powder. Okay? Make sure your brush, take your time to go ahead and make sure that brush is my money maker. I can't do none of this without a brush. Try doing nails with your finger. This ain't Play-Doh, okay? So we want to make sure our brush is always clean and always nicely shaped so that when we get ready to use it again, it's ready, okay? Always have it sitting straight up. Now, we'll check this. Now, there we go. All right. You can open this up in the back if you want to. That's another way to take it off. Look how well it's stuck to you. All right. But squeeze the tip
And pull
it
down.
down. Okay. These stuck really good. Now, take this one off. All right. It's all right. Child, I'm nails so they have them perfect. All right. So now we're gonna do the sidewall. See how I'm pulling her skin back? Pulling the skin back. I'm using my finger to pull that skin away so that when I file, I'm not hurting her. Sidewall. sidewall tip. Okay, now hold her cuticle area so that we don't injure it when we're filing. And we're going to take a look at it. That's pretty thin, isn't it? We're filing a round shape here. We're not going to sidewall tip, and then free edge. Take your change position so that you can see and pay attention to what you're doing. I'm looking at the tip of the nail. I don't care nothing about the back right now. I'm protecting that. In a C shape. All right? I'm gonna brush it. See my etch marks? Turn that around. Take a look at how thin it is. All right? You don't want it much thicker than that. It'd even be thinner. Now, I'm going to address the cuticle area. Now, this is a real human, so I need to be careful. So I'm going to hold that skin back, and I'm going to start on one side, and I'm going to take my file, and I'm going to tuck it into the cuticle area. See how I'm taking my file and I'm tucking it in right there? You want to be careful not to injure your clients. This is easier to do with an E-file, but we don't have an E-file at State Board. All right? So once I have gotten that cuticle area nice and flush, and of course I can't get right up on her because I'm trying to show you guys. Once it's nice and flush, you see my etch marks. I still have my apex area here in the middle. Now I'm going to blend everything together. I'm going to bring it all home. That's how it's done. Okay. Now, take your buffer. See how I've got my purple side facing her? Now when I can get in there, I can get up next to that cuticle and not hurt her. If I take this part right here that's sharp, how that feel? Now without even, that thing will cut. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're using the side that's a lot smoother and softer. If the client doesn't like it, and you're always going to have that client, I want square round. That is not a shape. Square round is worn down nails. They look like they're 2 weeks old already. I do not like my clients walking out the nail salon with square round nails. That is a shape you can't get from me. But what I will do is I will take my buffer and just, so now the edges aren't as sharp here. Okay, I like them sharp. By the time I get home and scratch my jeans, I'm gonna scratch my butt a few times. It's nice and square round. Promise you that. But with sculpted nails, you're not going to have that as often as you would with tips. Why? Tips are plastic. Tips over time are going to wear down from underneath. Whereas the acrylic, not so much. It will if you're using acetone like me every day. It'll start to round out. But that's a nail tech thing. You're always going to have those nails in this hand when you're doing nails because they're going to round out a bit. But the client, there you go. That's it. So now when I take a cleansing wipe, cleanse it, and you guys, because you may have more pedicures to do. Remember, we're doing, instead of pedicures, if we don't have them, because we ain't gonna have 60 pedicures come in here. You're gonna do acrylic, a manicure on your acrylic sets. We'll spray that down. Look at it. See? Easy sculpted nail. Look at the C curve. Turn your nail around. Look at your C curve. Flip it this way. See? And that's how we do it.
So that must be in comments in the other phone.
It does? Oh, interesting. So, any questions? You will once you get over there and do it. You will. Okay. But that's it. This should pop off very easily. Or you should be able to peel it off because we didn't put no primer on it, no nothing. It should be slick. If not, we'll soak it off. Okay? But that's how we do it. Oh, they want to get a glance. Take a glance. Let's see. They want to get a glance. So this was a sculpted nail. Okay? Just a little short sculpted nail. Simple state board style sculpted nail. Okay? That's it. That's how it's done. State board. Alright? So.
Can I grab your monomer?
Can you get what, dear? Yeah, I'm gonna pour you some. I gotta pour you some.
Okay.
Do me a favor and go up underneath the reception desk and get me an 8-ounce monomer bottle for you. Okay. So yeah, her natural nails are very nice. I say your natural nails are gorgeous. She been growing them. She been growing them.
I was tired.
And that's
My
it.
nails before I started school.
Not no more. We know how to. We know not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my folks that are in the Zoom, you will get the replay. Let's see. I think he's gonna read. Oh. You leave right there, baby. You guys are gonna get the replay. We are. Give us 1 second, and I will answer all you guys' questions in just a second. I'm gonna let the production do that. Production team. Here, use mine until I fill you up. Okay. Hell, take that one and I'll put some more in it. That one's brand new. I think I had just poured that one last week.
TikTok, baby.
Oh, sorry,
Showing a lot
TikTok.
of love.
Do you ever do, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Can I see your nails from yesterday? Yes. Any questions, you guys? Hold on, let me turn my chat on for my, we got 5 people in here. Hello, Danielle. Hello, Jordan. Hey, Shanae. If you guys want to unmute yourself, you can and ask a question. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to turn them